Howdy, folks. Jerome Dolans, or as my friends call me, Jerry. We're sitting out here on this beautiful fall evening around this little campfire. And as you know, Halloween is just around the corner. Trick or treat. I have a treat for you tonight. Have any of you ever seen an apparition or a ghost? I have not one, but two pictures of ghosts to show you this evening. But first, I'd like to recite this poem that ties everything in together this evening. Now, some of you may have set foot on the sacred and hallowed grounds there at the Alamo. There's also a magnificent building in San Antonio that has just as much history and mystery to it. So much so that I was selective in what I put into this poem. I wanted to give you, the overall listener or reader, a good feel for this magnificent building. The title of this poem is Menger Hotel. Well, at least the coyotes are on cue tonight. The Menger Hotel. Immigrants of German descent. A small man with a big heart. A boarding house was their intent. His wife just as much a part. In the middle of San Antone, across from the Alamo, stands a building of cut stone. Once held Geronimo. Emits antique smells. Used to be a brewery. Now it's a hotel with much history. Many a notable have stayed. Military, Hollywood, presidents. People played. Decisions were made. Some are permanent residents. Teddy Roosevelt frequented the bar. He had a mission to fulfill, recruiting his Rough Riders from afar to march up San Juan Hill. Adina de Zavala spent years here, fasting for 3 days at the shrine so the Alamo would not disappear, also saving the Spanish governor's palace in time. J.W. Gates had his barbed wire show just outside of our corridor, so that everyone would know in the hotel, place your orders. Captain King has his suite up on the second floor. This is his retreat. Enters his room without opening the door. A frail little gal reads a paper on the sofa chair. Dressed Victorian style, seconds later, she's not there. Outside your door at night, one hears creaky sounds. Is it Sally White or security making its rounds? With no one there, front lobby doors open. There's certainly no air. Spirits have spoken. There were births and deaths. We housed the wounded and sick from their first cry to their last breath. Just part of our citizenship. Through its tenure, 3 owners were to be. Over 150 years of pleasure, a feat throughout the century. Scheduled to meet its demise, a parking lot was to take its place. Moody Foundation realized this would be a disgrace. One will find superb cuisine. Service is ideal. Try their mango ice cream. Enjoy your meal. Christmas and Halloween for our youthful. Who would pitch this sale? A tradition of helping people, the amazing Menger Hotel. And then we have the sirens. But we will continue in just about, let's say, 5 seconds. Let's let this noise get by. So please just bear with us here. I know y'all want to see those pictures, and we'll let whatever that get on down the road. Okay, as that's fading off, I want to show you the very first picture that our son took in the Menger Hotel. Even the owls are out tonight. This picture was taken approximately 2 o'clock in the morning from the lobby side looking in the bar, which again was closed. I'm going to show you this first picture and point this out to you while Clint, the cameraman's going to zoom it in for us here. You can see here that this woman, top of her head here, the exit light is shining on the top of her head. And she's looking from my left to the right, and you can see her cut in her neckline on her blouse, the bosom, and of course the midsection, and also, you know, her skirt with her arms coming down. This was taken again in the Menger bar at around 2 o'clock in the morning. Okay, now let me set this second picture up for you. This was taken by the manager of the hotel. The young lady you see behind the sign-in desk asked the manager, would you take my picture with my cell phone? So lo and behold, she edited her pictures a few days later, and look what shows up. It'd be on your right corner or my left. And there's a red arrow depicting this little girl. Okay, she appears here, as you can see. She's in a blue dress or a blue nightie or whatever, but the story behind that is that there was a little girl that was run over by a horse or a driverless carriage back, you know, when the streets were dirt. And then Sally White, the first picture, that was her jealous husband. She was a chambermaid there in the hotel, and her husband shot her out of jealousy, and she died like 3 days later. And Mr. Menger, actually, she had no kinfolk in that area, so Mr. Menger actually ended up paying for her burial and seeing that she had a proper burial. And one other thing I want to show you, appreciation of at the Menger Hotel, is a book out. This is not my book, but it was produced and co-authored by Dosia Williams, and also a good friend of ours and the family's, Ernesto Malacara, who was a human relations man there and also assistant manager for around 40 years. He just recently retired. You can get this book. It's called History and Mystery of the Menger Hotel. I believe it's on Amazon, or if you're in the Menger Hotel, you can also purchase it there at the lobby in the area there. So if any of you folks ever get to San Antonio, listen, wonderful place to stay. The food is great, the service is great, and you're right in the middle of everything. I mean, you're right downtown, the river walks there, and of course check out their suites, because of course Captain King died in his room, actually the same bed he died in. If you want to sleep in it, you can rent his suite. He was a quite prominent figure. You know, he's the one that started the King Ranch there in South Texas. So anyway, I just want to thank you for everything, and I want to wish you a happy Halloween, and keep those kiddos safe out there. And of course, you know, in these times we live in, you have to watch out for the youngsters. All right, and have a good Halloween.